There is a silent saboteur living in your pocket. It's quietly weakening your brain every single day. Most people are completely unaware of this threat, even as it actively damages their ability to think clearly. You might even be holding it in your hand right now. This isn't some far-off abstract danger. It's a concrete reality confirmed by the latest neuroscience findings. This everyday behavior is so common, so ingrained in our lives. It's so ingrained that we call it normal. But the science is clear. This habit is slowly eroding your focus. It's degrading your memory. It's clouding your mental clarity. It's a slow-motion cognitive decline, leaving you scattered, forgetful, and mentally exhausted. This behavior is chronic digital distraction, the constant, relentless multitasking with smartphones and devices, endless switching between apps, compulsive checking of notifications, multiple tabs open while trying to work. Each quick glance at your phone fragments your attention. Think about how many times you've done that today. Each interruption is a small hammer blow to your cognitive control. Neuroscientists now warn this pattern rewires the brain for distraction, making deep, sustained focus nearly impossible over time. The stakes are high, affecting work and relationships. When your focus is shattered, your work quality suffers. You make more mistakes and take longer to finish tasks. You struggle to generate creative ideas. Your memory starts failing in small ways. You forget names, misplace your keys, or walk into a room and forget why you're there. This isn't just being busy, it's a brain trained to forget. You experience persistent brain fog. You feel mentally sluggish and overwhelmed by simple decisions. But here's the crucial part. You are not helpless. The brain can change and recover. In this video, we'll do more than warn you. We'll give solutions, science-backed strategies, and simple, actionable steps to reclaim focus. We'll show you how to reverse the damage and build a resilient mind. Before we dive in, reflect on your phone usage. How many times did you check it in the last hour? Be honest. Awareness is the first step to taking back control. So what is actually happening inside your head when you constantly switch between your work, your email, a stream of social media updates? You might think you're being efficient, a master of multitasking, but neuroscience tells a completely different story. Your brain is not designed for rapid, continuous task switching. Instead, you have specific neural networks dedicated to maintaining attention. Think of your attentional system like a spotlight. When you focus on a single task, that spotlight is bright and sharply defined, illuminating all the necessary details. But every time you check your phone, you click on a notification, you force that spotlight to abruptly shut off and turn on somewhere else, a process that consumes significant mental energy. This constant switching comes at a steep cognitive cost. Your brain's working memory, which is like its temporary notepad for holding information, has a very limited capacity. When you are interrupted, the information you were holding in your working memory can be lost, forcing your brain to work much harder to get back on track. This is why you feel so drained after a day of fragmented work, even if you don't feel like you accomplished much. You've essentially been forcing your brain to run a series of mentally taxing sprints all day long, instead of settling into a steady, efficient pace. The constant state of alert, waiting for the next ping or buzz, also keeps your nervous system in a low-grade state of fight or flight, further depleting your mental and physical resources. The long-term consequences are even more alarming. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections, is a double-edged sword. When you consistently practice deep focus, you strengthen the neural pathways responsible for sustained attention. Conversely, when you consistently practice distraction, you are literally wiring your brain to be more distractible. Studies using brain imaging have revealed a startling link between heavy media multitasking and a tangible change in brain structure. Individuals who engage in high levels of this behavior have been found to have less gray matter density in a critical region of the brain called the anterior cingulate cortex. The anterior cingulate cortex is a key hub for attention and emotional control. This isn't just an abstract scientific finding. It's a physical manifestation of a habit that is weakening a core part of your cognitive machinery. You are, in effect, training your brain to be less capable of the very thing you need to succeed, the ability to focus. The good news is that because of neuroplasticity, this damage is not necessarily permanent. Just as you can train your brain for distraction, you can also retrain it for focus. By understanding the mechanisms at play, you can start to make conscious choices that support your brain's health rather than undermine it. The journey back to mental clarity begins with recognizing that every small choice to resist distraction is an investment in building a stronger, more powerful mind. Let's make this real. Let's talk about Sarah. Sarah wasn't a tech executive or a Silicon Valley coder. She was a 38-year-old high school history teacher, beloved by her students for her passion, for her dynamic lessons. For years, she'd managed a chaotic classroom. She remembered the individual struggles of over 100 students. She still had the creative energy to design engaging projects. Sarah was sharp, organized, deeply committed to her work. She remembered birthdays. She followed up on conversations. She seemed to have it all under control. Her life was full, and others admired her competence. But over the last couple of years, something started to shift. The change was subtle at first. It began with a new school-wide communication app meant to streamline interaction. Suddenly, Sarah's pocket was buzzing all day long. A parent, question about homework. A student, needs a deadline extension. An administrator, an urgent but trivial reminder. Sarah wanted to be responsive, so she answered them all. She prided herself on quick replies, a mark of professionalism. She didn't see she was building a cage for her mind, one notification at a time. The habit bled into every corner of her life. Lesson planning with email open, phone on the desk, social media on her tablet for a break. She told herself she was staying connected, being efficient. She'd be grading papers. A notification pulled her away for a minute. That minute stretched into 20 as she fell down a rabbit hole. She started bringing her phone to the dinner table, answering school emails while her children tried to tell her about their day. Physically present, mentally everywhere else, fractured across digital windows. Sarah felt busier, yet less productive. Her days became a frantic scramble from one small digital fire to the next, constantly reacting, never directing her attention. A persistent low-grade anxiety, a hum of mental static. She'd fall into bed exhausted, but her mind would race, processing the endless stream from the day. She felt like she was drowning, not in work, but in endless, shallow digital noise. The sharp, focused teacher felt like a distant memory, replaced by a scattered, exhausted woman trying to keep her head above water. The first real signs of trouble were small, the kind of things you might laugh off as just being tired or stressed. Sarah, who once knew the names of all her students by the second week of school, found herself stumbling in the third month. She'd call a student by the wrong name. She'd forget a promise she'd made to another just a day earlier. At home, it was the same story. She'd walk into the kitchen with purpose, only to stand there, completely baffled, unable to remember what she came for. She misplaced her keys constantly. She found her glasses in the refrigerator. She double-booked appointments. These weren't just occasional slip-ups. They were becoming her new normal. This growing forgetfulness began to erode her confidence. She started writing everything down on sticky notes, creating a blizzard of paper that covered her desk, covered her computer monitor, and covered her kitchen counter. But this was just a bandage. The core problem was that her working memory, the brain's temporary notepad, was constantly being wiped clean by interruptions. She would be in the middle of explaining a complex historical event to her class, and the buzz of her watch would be enough to completely derail her train of thought. She'd pause, her mind a total blank, and have to awkwardly look at her notes to find her place, feeling the curious eyes of her students on her. Her friends and family started to notice too. Conversations with Sarah became frustrating. She would check her phone mid-sentence, her eyes glazing over as she quickly scanned a notification. When she looked up, she'd have a vacant expression and say, "Sorry, what were we talking about?" The flow of connection was constantly broken. Her husband mentioned that he felt like he was competing with her phone for her attention, and he was losing. She felt a pang of guilt but dismissed it, telling herself this was just the demand of her job in the modern world. She didn't see it as a choice she was making, but as a necessity she had to endure. The most worrying part for Sarah was the loss of her mental clarity. Her mind, once a sharp tool she could rely on, now felt like a foggy, cluttered attic. Thinking deeply about anything felt like wading through mud. She struggled to come up with the creative lesson plans she was once famous for. Her thinking felt shallow, reactive, and derivative. The joy she once found in her work was being replaced by a persistent feeling of inadequacy and mental fatigue. She wasn't just tired. She felt like her brain itself was broken, like a radio that could no longer hold a clear station, only producing static. The place where Sarah's decline became most painfully obvious was the one place she cared about most: her classroom. Her teaching, once her greatest source of pride, began to suffer in visible ways. Her lectures, which used to be lively and filled with compelling stories, became disjointed. She would lose her train of thought, repeat herself, skip over crucial information. The students, who once hung on her every word, started to look bored and confused. Their eyes would wander. Some would surreptitiously check their own phones. The energy and engagement in the room had plummeted. The quality of her feedback on student work also declined. Sarah used to write thoughtful, detailed comments on essays, guiding her students toward better writing and deeper thinking. Now, she found herself struggling to concentrate long enough to give a paper the attention it deserved. She'd read a paragraph, her phone would buzz, and she'd lose the thread of the student's argument. Her comments became generic and superficial. "Good job, needs more detail." She was grading the work, but she wasn't truly teaching. She knew it, and she felt a profound sense of shame, but she felt powerless to fix it, trapped in a cycle of distraction and mental exhaustion. This decline did not go unnoticed. During a parent-teacher conference, a concerned parent gently mentioned that her son felt lost in the class this year, something that surprised her because he had been so excited to have Sarah as a teacher. The comment, though kindly delivered, felt like a punch to the gut. Later that month, her department head called her in for a meeting. He showed her the results of a mid-year student survey. The feedback was filled with comments like, "Class is confusing. Mrs. Miller seems distracted. She's on her phone a lot." It was a devastating blow to her professional identity. The worst moment came during an observation by the school principal. Sarah was in the middle of a lesson she had given dozens of times, but her mind felt like a sieve. She fumbled her explanation of the causes of the First World War, mixing up dates, mixing up key figures. In a moment of panic, she pulled out her phone, pretending she needed to look up a quick fact. The principal's pen scratched furiously on his notepad. The look on his face was not one of anger, but of disappointment. In that moment, Sarah saw herself through his eyes. A teacher who was failing her students, not because she didn't care, but because she had lost control of her own mind. The breaking point for Sarah didn't happen in the classroom or in the principal's office. It happened on a quiet Tuesday evening. Her 9-year-old son Leo had been trying to show her a Lego creation he had spent all afternoon building. It was an intricate spaceship. He was bursting with pride, explaining every detail.
"That's great, honey."
"You're not even looking, Mom."
Sarah looked up, startled. He didn't look angry, he looked defeated. She saw a disappointment heavier than any criticism from school. He placed the spaceship back on the floor and walked out. The silence was deafening, broken only by the faint glow of her phone. Something inside Sarah shattered. She stared at the phone as if it were a venomous snake. The pointless argument and endless scroll collided with the moment she'd missed. She had traded a real connection with the person who mattered most for a cheap, empty hit of digital stimulation. It wasn't just about her job anymore. It wasn't just about being forgetful. This habit was poisoning the most sacred parts of her life. It was stealing her from her own family. Overwhelmed, Sarah put the phone down and went to find her son. He was in his room, taking his spaceship apart, piece by piece. She sat on the floor beside him, her heart aching. She started helping him, handing him pieces in silence. When she apologized, voice thick, he just nodded. It was clear this wasn't the first time. That night she lay awake, realizing she was addicted to distraction. She knew, cold with certainty, that if she didn't change, she'd lose everything that mattered. The next week, Sarah made an appointment with her family doctor. She was convinced something was medically wrong. She was terrified she might be showing early signs of dementia, or another neurological disorder. She sat in the sterile examination room, hands trembling as she described her symptoms: the crippling brain fog, the constant forgetfulness, the inability to concentrate, the overwhelming anxiety. Her work was suffering, her personal life was fraying at the edges. She pleaded for a test, a scan, anything to explain why her brain felt like it was betraying her. She wanted a medical label for her suffering.
How much sleep are you getting? How is your diet? Can you walk me through a typical day with your phone and computer? Sarah recounted her routine, waking up to an avalanche of notifications, working with multiple tabs and email constantly open, checking her phone dozens, maybe hundreds, of times a day, scrolling in bed until she fell asleep. After a full exam and cognitive screens, all normal for her age, the doctor put down her clipboard. The doctor looked at Sarah with a compassionate expression. "Sarah, I don't think you have a brain disease.
I think you have a perfectly healthy brain that's being systematically overwhelmed. These aren't signs of early-onset dementia. They're classic symptoms of chronic digital distraction and cognitive overload. Your brain isn't broken, it's just buried." The doctor tied Sarah's experience to neuroscience. Constant task switching was depleting her cognitive resources, like running a computer with too many programs open. Notifications were hijacking her brain's reward system, creating craving and distraction. Because of neuroplasticity, her brain had literally been rewired to be less focused. It wasn't a diagnosis of disease, but a diagnosis of a habit. Terrifying, but also the first glimmer of hope. A disease might be permanent, but a habit can be changed. Leaving the doctor's office, Sarah felt a strange mix of relief and dread. Relief that she wasn't facing a degenerative brain disease, and dread at the monumental task ahead, untangling her life from the digital web she had woven around herself. The doctor's advice was not to go on a radical digital detox, but to start with one small, manageable change. The prescription was simple: 1 week of a strict digital sunset. Every evening at 8 o'clock, turn off her phone, turn off her laptop, turn off her tablet. Do not turn them on until morning. It sounded simple, but for Sarah, it felt like being asked to hold her breath for 10 hours. The first night was excruciating. At 8:01, she felt a powerful urge to check her phone, a phantom itch. She paced around the house, restless and anxious. What if there was an urgent email from a parent? What if something important was happening in the world? Her mind raced, inventing justifications to stay connected. The craving felt like her brain's dopamine reward loop screaming for its fix. It was withdrawal, plain and simple. Remembering the doctor's words gave her strength to resist. She and her husband dug out an old board game from the closet. They started to play. The first 10 minutes were awkward, her mind jittery. Slowly, the mental static began to quiet. She started laughing, truly laughing, for the first time in months. She was fully focused on the game, the conversation, the person across from her. No interruptions, no mental fragmentation. Her brain felt freed, taking a long, deep breath. By evening's end, calm had settled over her. That night, she slept more deeply than she had in years. Morning, she woke rested and clear. The usual brain fog was lighter. Turning on her phone, she saw she'd missed nothing of consequence. The world had not ended. The urgent emails were not really urgent. She realized her perpetual alert state was an illusion, a prison of her own making. That first small step showed escape was possible. Now that you understand the problem and have seen how someone like Sarah turned her life around, it's your turn. This is the practical act of the video, where we give you the exact science-backed steps to reclaim your focus. The first and most powerful strategy is to schedule deep focus blocks. Don't just wait for focus to happen, it won't. In our distraction-filled world, you have to intentionally carve out and fiercely protect time for concentrated work. This means treating focus like you would any other important appointment. You wouldn't let someone interrupt a meeting with your boss for a trivial question, so you must start treating your appointments with focus with the same level of seriousness and respect. The neuroscience behind this is straightforward. By dedicating a specific, uninterrupted block of time to a single task, you allow your brain's attentional spotlight to shine brightly and steadily. This state of deep work or flow is when your brain is most efficient and creative. It allows your working memory to hold all the relevant information without being constantly wiped clean by interruptions. More importantly, every time you complete one of these focus blocks, you are actively strengthening the neural pathways for sustained attention. You are exercising your anterior cingulate cortex, rebuilding its density, and making it easier to resist distractions in the future. It's a workout for the part of your brain that controls focus. So, how do you do this? Start small, but be consistent. Look at your schedule for the upcoming week and identify 2 blocks of time. Identify 3 blocks of time, anywhere from 60 minutes each, 90 minutes each. Put them in your calendar as non-negotiable appointments. When the time arrives, you must be ruthless. Turn your phone completely off, put it in another room. Close every single tab on your computer that is not essential for the task at hand. Shut down your email and any chat programs. Inform your family or colleagues that you are unavailable during this time. The goal is to create a fortress against interruption for that specific period, allowing your brain the safety it needs to go deep. During your first few sessions, it will feel difficult. Your brain, conditioned for distraction, will scream for a hit of novelty. You will feel a powerful urge to check your phone or open a new tab. This is normal. This is the feeling of your brain rewiring itself. Your job is to simply notice that urge and gently, but firmly, redirect your attention back to your chosen task. Think of it as training a puppy. It requires patience and repetition. Start with just one 60-minute block tomorrow. Try it. This single habit is the cornerstone of rebuilding a focused mind, and it is the most effective way to produce high-quality work and rediscover the satisfaction of true accomplishment. Your second mission is to declare war on non-essential notifications. Most people allow their digital devices to behave like a screaming toddler, demanding their attention at any moment for any reason. This has to stop. Notifications are the primary weapon of the distraction economy, designed specifically to hijack your attention and pull you out of your life and into their app. Each ping, buzz, banner is a carefully engineered interruption that fragments your focus and keeps your nervous system in a low-grade state of alert. Taking control of your notifications is not a small tweak. It is a fundamental act of cognitive self-defense essential for your mental well-being. The science here ties to attention-switching costs. Every notification, even one you ignore, forces your brain to make a decision. Is this important? Do I need to deal with this now? This brief decision-making process consumes precious mental energy and pulls resources away from your primary task. It keeps part of your brain on standby, waiting for the next interruption, which prevents you from ever achieving a state of deep focus. By turning off notifications, you eliminate that constant stream of micro-decisions and free up your cognitive resources. You lower the background hum of anxiety and create a mental environment where your attentional spotlight can remain steady. Here is your practical, step-by-step guide to better notification hygiene. Pick up your phone right now or after this video. Go into your settings and turn off every single notification that is not delivered by a real human being who needs you in a timely manner. This means all notifications from social media, news apps, shopping apps, games are turned off. Be ruthless. You do not need to be alerted the second someone likes your photo. For email, turn off all banners and sounds. You decide when to check your email. Your email does not decide for you. The only notifications that should remain are typically phone calls, messages from key people, which you can often customize to be less intrusive. Once you have done this, you will immediately notice a change. The world will feel quieter. Your mind will feel calmer. You will no longer be living at the mercy of 1,000 different apps, all competing for a slice of your brain. Instead, you will be in control. You will check social media when you decide to, not when the app summons you. You will read the news when you choose to, not when a headline screams for your attention. This simple act reclaims your agency. It's a powerful statement to yourself and to the tech companies that your attention is your own, and it is not for sale. it is one of the easiest yet most impactful changes you can make. Section 3. Step 3. Practice deliberate single tasking. The myth of multitasking is one of the most destructive forces in our modern work culture. Your third step is to actively rebel against this myth by practicing deliberate single tasking. This means making a conscious choice to do one thing at a time, from start to finish, with your full attention. This applies not just to your big, important work projects, but to the small, mundane activities of daily life as well. The goal is to retrain your brain to savor the calm efficiency of singular focus, breaking the addiction to the chaotic, dopamine-fueled buzz of task switching. It is a practice of bringing mindfulness and intention to everything you do. Neurologically, single tasking is the most efficient way for your brain to operate. When you focus on one task, your prefrontal cortex can effectively coordinate the necessary neural networks without the high cognitive cost of constantly switching gears. It allows you to enter a state of flow, where you are fully immersed, your performance is at its peak, and you derive genuine satisfaction from the work itself. By practicing single tasking, you are essentially reversing the damage of chronic distraction. You are telling your brain that focus is the new default, strengthening the neural pathways that support it, and allowing the overgrown paths of distraction to slowly fade away from disuse. Here's how to integrate this into your life. Start with your work. When you are writing an email, just write the email. Don't have another document open or check your phone. When you are on a video call, close all other windows and give the person on the screen your full attention. You will find that you are more articulate and the meeting finishes faster. But don't stop there. Apply this to your life outside of work. When you are eating a meal, just eat. Put your phone away, turn off the TV, and focus on the taste and texture of your food. When you are washing the dishes, just wash the dishes. Feel the warm water and the soap on your hands. This might sound overly simple or even boring, but it is a powerful form of mental training. Initially, your brain will resist. It will crave the stimulation of doing 2 or 3 things at once. But with consistent practice, you will start to notice a profound shift. You will feel less scattered and more grounded. Your stress levels will decrease. Tasks that once felt like a chore will become more enjoyable, or at least more peaceful. Here's a challenge for you. For the next 24 hours, pick 3 activities you would normally do while multitasking: drinking coffee, walking, listening to music, and do each one on its own with your full attention. Experience the difference. Section 4. Step 4. Create phone-free zones and times. Your physical environment shapes your mental state. If your phone is within arm's reach, you're in a constant low-grade battle with temptation. Re-engineer your environment to support focus. Create sacred, phone-free zones and times. This isn't about getting rid of your phone. It's about putting it in its proper place. Use your phone with intention, not let it dictate your attention. When phones are not allowed, you eliminate the willpower battle and give your brain space to rest. Neuroscience. Cues and habits shape associations. If you scroll in bed, your brain links the bedroom to stimulation. That leads to insomnia and poor sleep quality. If the phone is on the dinner table, meal times become fragmented attention. Phone-free zones break bad associations and form healthier ones. Bedroom, daran, rest and intimacy. Dinner table, connection and nourishment. Practical plan. First, bedroom is a strict phone-free zone, non-negotiable. Buy an old-fashioned alarm clock. Charge your phone overnight in another room. Kitchen example. Living room example. This change can improve sleep quality and reduce morning anxiety. Second, make the dinner table phone-free. Eat meals without screens, reconnect with family, establish phone-free times each day. Try a digital sunset. Choose a time, e.g., 9 o'clock p.m. Try a phone-free first hour of the day. Give your brain time to wake up gently, not a digital flood. Use that hour for meditation, journaling, exercise, a quiet cup of coffee. By setting these boundaries, you take back control of your time and your mental space. Section 5. Step 5. Support your brain with sleep and movement. Your ability to focus is not just a mental game, it is deeply rooted in your physical health. You cannot expect to have a sharp, resilient mind if you are neglecting the fundamental needs of your body. Your fifth step is to support your brain's cognitive functions with two of the most powerful tools available to you: adequate sleep, regular physical exercise. Think of these not as separate health goals, but as essential maintenance for your brain's hardware. Trying to build focus while chronically sleep-deprived and sedentary is like trying to run complex software on a computer that is overheating and has low battery. It simply will not work effectively. Let's start with sleep. During deep sleep, your brain performs a critical cleaning process. The glymphatic system, your brain's waste clearance pathway, becomes highly active, flushing out metabolic byproducts and toxins, including beta amyloid, a protein linked to Alzheimer's disease. Sleep is also when your brain consolidates memories, transferring important information from your fragile short-term notepad to more durable long-term storage. When you don't get enough quality sleep, ideally 7 to 9 hours for most adults, this cleaning and consolidation process is impaired, leaving you with brain fog, poor memory, and a significantly reduced ability to focus and regulate your emotions the next day. Now, let's look at exercise. When you engage in physical activity, especially aerobic exercise, you increase blood flow to the brain, delivering more oxygen and nutrients. Brisk walking, running, cycling. But the benefits go much deeper. Exercise triggers the release of a powerful molecule called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF. Neuroscientists often refer to BDNF as miracle grow for the brain. It supports the survival of existing neurons and encourages the growth of new ones. It also strengthens synapses, the connections between neurons, which is crucial for learning, memory, and, you guessed it, focus. Regular exercise is one of the most effective ways to boost neuroplasticity and build a healthier, more resilient brain. The practical application is simple but requires consistency. For sleep, prioritize it. Create a relaxing wind-down routine in the hour before bed, ideally during your new phone-free time. Make your bedroom dark, quiet, and cool. Aim for a consistent sleep schedule, even on weekends. For exercise, you don't need to become a marathon runner. The goal is consistent movement. Aim for at least 30 minutes of moderate intensity activity, like a brisk walk, most days of the week. Find something you enjoy, whether it's dancing, hiking, or swimming. By making sleep and movement non-negotiable priorities, you are providing your brain with the fundamental biological resources it needs to win the war against distraction. The final step is to directly train the muscle of your attention. All the other steps involve managing your environment and habits, which is crucial, but this step is about actively building your capacity for focus from the inside out. This is where short, simple mindfulness practices come in. Mindfulness, at its core, is the practice of paying attention, on purpose, in the present moment, without judgment. It is a direct workout for your brain's attention networks. You can think of it as taking your brain to the gym. It might feel a bit strange or difficult at first, but with practice, it builds real measurable strength in your ability to control your focus. The neuroscience of mindfulness is compelling. Brain imaging studies have shown that a consistent mindfulness practice can lead to increased gray matter density in the prefrontal cortex and the anterior cingulate cortex. Attention, emotional regulation, cognitive control that are weakened by chronic distraction. The practice works by training you to do three things. First, to place your attentional spotlight on a single object. Second, to notice when your mind has wandered. Third, to gently but firmly guide your attention back. This simple loop of focusing, noticing distraction, and refocusing is the fundamental rep in your attention workout. You don't need to meditate for hours on a mountaintop to get these benefits. You can start with a simple 1-minute breath anchor. Okay, and here's how you do it, and you can try it right now. Sit comfortably and close your eyes if you wish. Simply bring your full attention to the physical sensation of your breath. Feel the air entering your nostrils, filling your lungs, and the feeling of your chest or belly rising and falling. Your only job for the next 60 seconds is to keep your attention anchored to these sensations. Your mind will inevitably wander. That's not a failure. That's the moment of opportunity. The moment you notice your mind has wandered, gently acknowledge it, and then guide your focus back to your breath. Practice this 1-minute drill 3 times a day. You can do it at your desk before you start a work block, while waiting for the coffee to brew, or before a difficult conversation. It's a tiny investment of time with a huge payoff. As you get more comfortable, you can extend the time to 5 or 10 minutes. This simple practice will make you more aware of where your attention is at any given moment. It will strengthen your ability to resist being pulled away by distractions and improve your capacity to place your focus where you want it, when you want it. This is the ultimate skill for thriving in a world that is constantly trying to steal your most valuable asset, your attention. We have traveled through the science of our distracted minds, from the flickering spotlight of attention to the physical toll it takes on our brain's structure. We've seen how this one habit, chronic digital distraction, quietly weakens our focus, erodes our memory, leaves us feeling perpetually scattered and anxious. We witnessed Sarah's story, reclaiming her presence and her passion. And we have laid out a clear, science-backed battle plan with practical steps you can start taking today. Now, we arrive at the end, but it is also a beginning. The choice of what to do next rests entirely with you, right here, right now. The risk is clear and present. Continuing down the path of constant distraction is not a neutral act. It is a slow-motion cognitive decline. You are actively choosing it with every mindless scroll and needless notification check. It is a path that leads to shallower thinking, poorer work, strained relationships, feeling busy but unfulfilled. It is a life lived in the shallows, skimming the surface of everything but never experiencing depth. This is the future the architects of the attention economy have designed for you. Your focus endlessly harvested for their profit, leaving you with the digital scraps. But there is another path available. It is the path of depth, meaning true connection. This is the path of single tasking, deep work, phone-free dinners, rediscovering the quiet joy of an undistracted mind. It requires conscious effort and deliberate practice, but it leads to profound reward. It leads to better work, sharper thinking, stronger relationships, a resilient sense of calm. This path lets you access the most powerful and creative states your brain can reach. It is where you produce work that matters, have conversations that connect, live a life you, not an algorithm, have chosen. The most important fixes we discussed are not complicated. They are simple, foundational shifts in your daily habits. Protect your time with scheduled, deep focus blocks. Reclaim your peace by silencing your notifications. Rediscover efficiency by practicing single tasking. Create sanctuaries for your mind with phone-free zones, bedroom phone-free, dinner table phone-free. Support your brain's hardware with the non-negotiables of sleep and movement. These are not just life hacks, they are acts of rebellion against a culture of distraction. They are the tools to take back control of your mind and your life. The choice between these two paths is made in the small decisions you make every single day. If there is one message I want you to take away from this video, it is this. Your brain is not broken. You may feel like it is. You may feel foggy. You may feel forgetful. You may feel incapable of the focus you once had. You might worry that the damage is permanent. But the same principle of neuroscience that got you into this state is the very principle that can get you out. That principle is neuroplasticity. Your brain is a living, dynamic organ that is constantly adapting to the demands you place upon it. It is built to change. It is not fixed in a state of distraction. It has simply learned to be distracted. And anything that has been learned can be unlearned. This is the ultimate message of hope. The science proves that change is not only possible, but it is your brain's natural state. Just as Sarah was able to rebuild her focus and reclaim her life, so can you. When you start to practice deliberate focus, you are not just trying harder. You are physically rewiring your brain. You are strengthening the neural pathways for concentration. You are potentially increasing the gray matter density in your anterior cingulate cortex, the command center for your attention. Each time you resist the urge to check your phone and instead hold your focus for one more minute, you are casting a vote for a stronger, more resilient brain. Think of yourself as the architect of your own mind. The habits you practice today are the blueprints for the brain you will have tomorrow. You can continue to build a chaotic, inefficient structure designed for interruption, or you can begin the work of building a calm, strong, and focused mind. This process is not about perfection. It's about consistency. There will be days when you slip up, when you fall back into old patterns. That is okay. The goal is not to be perfect, but to be persistent. The key is to notice when you have fallen off the path, and to gently, without judgment, guide yourself back onto it. Your brain is waiting for you to give it the right instructions. It is waiting for you to provide it with the challenges it needs to grow stronger. It is waiting for you to provide it with the rest it needs to recover. It is waiting for you to create an environment that supports its health rather than undermines it. The mental clarity you desire is not lost forever. The sharp focus you desire is not lost forever. The calm presence you desire is not lost forever. They are simply dormant, buried under the noise of our digital lives. By consistently applying the strategies we've discussed, you can clear away that noise and allow your brain's natural power to re-emerge, stronger and more capable than before. Your best thinking is still ahead of you. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and your journey back to a life of focus begins with one small, concrete action. It's easy to watch a video like this, feel inspired for a moment, and then do nothing. But knowledge without action is useless. The only way to create real change is to start, and to start now. Today is the day you stop being a passive consumer of information and become an active participant in your own cognitive enhancement. The power to change your brain is in your hands, and the time to use that power is right now. Don't wait for a better time. Don't wait until Monday. Start today. So here is your call to action, your first step. It's a simple pledge. I want you to commit to just one phone-free hour sometime in the next 24 hours. The first hour of your day, the hour during dinner, the last hour before you go to sleep. For 60 minutes, put your phone away where you can't see it or hear it. Experience what it feels like to be truly present in your own life without the constant pull of the digital world. Go to the comment section right now. Write, "I chose focus." By writing those 3 simple words, you are making a public pledge to yourself. You are drawing a line in the sand. You are declaring that your attention is valuable and that you are ready to protect it. It's a small act, but it is a powerful one. It signals your intention to your own brain and connects you with thousands of others who are on the same path. Let's fill the comments with this pledge. Start a movement away from distraction toward a more focused, meaningful way of living. While you're there, give this video a like if you are serious about improving your mental performance. It helps the channel and spreads this crucial message. Don't let this be the last time we connect. If you want more science-backed strategies to protect and strengthen your brain, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Save this video to your watch list so you can review the steps later. Remember, building a better brain is not a one-time fix. It is an ongoing practice. With consistent habits, you can and you will rebuild your focus. Thank you for investing your time and your attention with us today. Now go claim that phone-free hour. You've got this. I chose focus.